Hey y'all, still in booth out here with Snapper Roofing, out here at the Merwin residence, claim number 060005046. It is 3:41 p.m. and it is June 3rd, 2026. We are out here trying to do some repairs. The reason we pulled the phone out to take a video is, I'm not sure how well you can tell in the video, but this roof has got some conditions set forth that we want to make sure that we record, not only for you, Mr. James, and for the insurance company if it's necessary, but also for ourselves to show that we're doing all the right procedures. But this roof is at a risk to fail a repair and cause further damage. So if we can complete this repair and we don't see any other damages, we're going to go ahead and move forward on getting some of these other ones done. But again, we just wanted to take out the camera so that y'all can watch us do it. So if we do run into any issues, it's already documented. So first tool I'm going to be using, a lot of people tend to use the pry bars. I like to use this just because it's the thinnest tool on the market to get these shingles, the seal broke on them. And again, this is the shingle that we're removing is X, and then I have the 4 that need to be manipulated also labeled. So we're going to go ahead and start breaking that seal now. And so something that you'll notice on these older roofs is this seal is quite matted to the roof. All right, and so you do have to use a little bit more force. The idea though is finding that sweet spot where you don't cause any damage. But again, we have to use force. So this video is going to be a bit longer because I'm going to take my time trying to complete these repairs. Because you'll see in these areas where the bonds start, right, we've gotten all the way to here, and that bond, that double bond there on that key or that laminate, makes it very, very hard to get the shingle out. With that being said, we're going to apply a little bit more force. We're going to continue to apply consistent force. I just want to check something here. No, we are still on that original shingle. Right, so there we go. And again, we just make these videos so that if we do need to talk to y'all or anything like that, you can understand what we're saying. Not that we don't think you understand it, but every roof is different. And some of them might look like this and they're repairable because of the conditions like the sealant line. They just pop right up. These, however, are not. And that is going to pose an issue. Because as you can see, I mean, we're being as methodical with this as we can. All right. Got that one. So now you'll see me starting to use a little bit more force because that is what is getting the seal gone. So we have that up. What I'm going to do now is remove the sealant bond at the bottom of the shingle for shingles 2 and shingle 1. Now you can see at the end of removing that first shingle, it was force and speed. I got that thing to move up, so that's why you're going to see me giving it a little bit more force, a little bit more speed. Just actually causing that sealant line to come up. Now that we ran into an issue, we're going to come from this side just to see if we can easily get there. Same deal. So speed and force again. And again, we really like this tool when trying to complete repairs because a lot of times that pry bar, if you have to use force like that, it might go right clean through the shingle just because of the bulk on it. And we should only have to do this shingle here up to about there so that we can get an eye on those nails. So regular pry bar, this one's called the Roof Snake. We are not using it for its roof snake capability. We are just using it to remove the nails. So you'll notice I'm not touching the shingles with my hands, just because that can sometimes cause kind of like an organic shape where you're lifting the shingle. We like to keep a very linear shape. And please again, bear with me. This is quite a steep roof, so we are going to be a little bit slower on this one. Just making sure that we're safe while we're doing it. Now, I do see a tarp on the roof. The way that it's done, it looks like it was just a shingle. I don't know if there's been any testing done on this. We made sure to call in before we came out here today. We were just told a gray laminate 30 year. So what we did is we picked up a GAF 30-year laminate in the closest gray color that we could find to this that was relatively available. And again, bear with me. My feet are kind of slipping. I don't know if y'all can hear the granulars on this roof as in that video, but it is not the safest or easiest one to do repairs on. So, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Anyways, to get back to this, we've got, I believe it's 3 or 4 nails out. Got another one here. And again, the reason that we have to lift these shingles, and it's best practice to lift the shingles before you just go sliding your pry bar in there, is to A, find the nail, and B, make sure that we're not just doing a whole bunch of sliding around up under this shingle unwarranted. Because again, we're trying to complete this repair without causing damage to other shingles that then need to be repaired, because that just becomes one big headache. But again, that's why we video these. If we do run into an issue, everyone gets to see it, what happened, where it came from. Okay, so that is all the nails out of the first run of the shingle. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to give it a little tug, and you'll see that it's not coming out. The reason that is because we also have a nail line on shingles 3 and 4 that we have to remove nails out of shingles 1 and 2 for. So we're going to go ahead and start the process of breaking the seals on 3 and 4, where the seals need to be broke in order for us to retrieve the nails so that we can replace this shingle. All right, we're running into some issues from that side. We're gonna try it from here. And again, I don't think video can do justice. This is every bit of a bona fide 11 right here. This is a really hard one to work on from the very start. And I actually have shingle number 3 labeled, but I don't think we'll need to manipulate that at all in order to retrieve these. So we can go ahead and disqualify shingle number 3. And again, we're going to use our tool to pick this shingle up. So now that we have an inside eye, for some reason this is not wanting to, okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do is the same thing that we did on run 1, is just lift this up, locate our nails. It's kind of hard the way the color of these nails are. All right. So the manufacturers recommend that we don't go above 45 degrees when turning these shingles up. I don't have a speed square on me today. I usually like to use one of those just to show where 45 is truly at. See how we have a bit of a booger here with the nail that is deciding to hide from us. Okay, let's see where these others are. The reason I usually bring that speed square out is to show you how high 45 degrees truly is. It's a lot higher than we would just think until you have something sitting right here next to it. But to go on record, we are nowhere near 45 degrees when we're lifting the shingle up like this in order to get the nails out. All right, and then have that one that hit a little bit better. Just gonna see if I grabbed everything here. Get another tug pull. Okay, we're just missing one nail, it feels like. Very possibly we're actually going to need to break the seal on number 3, just a hair, to see that nail line and make sure there's not a nail in it. And there's not. There's one right here though. And I reckon the one that was really hard to see earlier. Let's see if there's still one holding us up. Yep, there's one right here that is very hard to find. I cannot seem to put my eyes on it. And so that's why we tend to not want to have to do this, but sometimes these nails just give us no choice. And we have to go in from 2 layers under. Okay, let's see here. Where are you at? There's still one, so again, sorry for this one being long, but this is the reality of completing even a 1 shingle repair on a roof like this. I'm gonna see if it's just really small. All right, I'm gonna move over here for just a second. Kind of talk to you all about why we did what we did in terms of removing those, just to show you kind of some photo evidence of what we're looking at, because it's easy to say out loud because I understand that I do it every day. You know, if you don't make repairs often, this is something that can be a little bit off kilter. So you can see the 2 nail lines here, right? So that's what we were removing to get this shingle out. So we're going to set that off to the side. Like I mentioned earlier, we did call in and ask which shingle y'all would like us to use to complete the repairs. We were just told a gray 30-year laminate. GAF is the highest selling shingle, so we typically go with that when we don't know what we're coming out to. So we're going to go ahead and start the process of putting this back in. As you're watching this, you might be asking yourself, why am I not using a pitch hopper? The reason we're not using a pitch hopper on this roof is simply because the granular loss is so severe that I would honestly be worried to use a pitch hopper on here. All right, just running into a little bit of trouble up there. Just gonna make sure that we don't have anything else to clear out that's causing us that hang up. There we go. There's that nail we could not find earlier. All right, so another thing to notate, you're gonna see us using hand tools on this one. When we do large scale repairs, like what you have here, which is a lot of damaged shingles that need to be replaced, we typically opt to use a motorized nailer, like the DeWalt, because you can just bring up with you. It's battery operated. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna slide this shingle in. And now I do want to notate before I go ahead and start putting nails back in this. While we were retrieving the shingle, I did notice a couple of delaminations. And I'm not going to use much force here, so if it does come up, I'm just going to barely pick it up. Okay, that one delaminated. So now this shingle is not going to operate as it was supposed to, right? And again, that's why we video these things, because if we come out here and we do a repair, Mr. James, you're happy, you know, the shingle is fixed, it looks much better, but then you start seeing other wind damage tabs simply because of the way this one here delaminated, simply because of the repair process. That's obviously something that is a condition and not where we did it improperly. It's just one of the conditions set forth. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back with the same nail size that came out. And what we're going to do is we're going to do, I believe we pulled 5 per shingle. So just going to talk over something with y'all real quick. As much as I would love to use this to hold up, and I could if I had an AJC hammer, the fact of the matter is even with that AJC hammer on a pitch like this, you're not going to be able to use it as well as, you know, it's advertised and intended for. So we're going to have to ditch this tool here. We are going to have to use our hand. The reason we're using our hand is we're going to use the backside of our hand to hold that shingle up at the lowest degree possible to be able to get a hammerhead in there and drive the nail. So just to kind of put an explanation as to why we're putting that tool away, and we're just going to our hand because there's no other way to do it here that is even somewhat reasonable. So we've got our shingle in, it is lined up. All right, now we're gonna start going backwards. So what I want to show you here real quick, and this is, like I said, not even our motorized nailer. To get a hammerhead to where that nail needs to land, which is right here, we're going to have to get up under this shingle. So again, just to put a little bit of understanding behind that, I have to get my nail head there, or my hammerhead there, in order to drive the nail. So we're gonna do that now. See, and it's quite hard because I'm trying to keep the shingle under 45 degrees. But as you can see, it's very hard for me to get momentum when my swing range of motion is limited to that. So we're gonna pick it up just a little bit more. And again, the reality of repairs on these steeper slopes and just repairs in general is sometimes you run into decking clips and other things that make it quite hard to nail in. But we carry on. We're just gonna make sure that our exposure is set properly. And these nails drop right above that exposure line in the bonding area where they were intended to be. All right, again, just gonna lift up just enough to get my hammerhead in. Need nails, please. Handful. So we've got 2 in. We're gonna do 3 more along here just to match what previously came out. I know there are certain manufacturer guidelines in terms of, you know, when you're doing a fresh install and to retain that warranty. But with these, we like to make sure that we're not adding back extra nails, because sometimes people who don't mean to do these repairs and do them the proper way, they will put extra nails or larger nails or things of that nature in order to make the repair seem harder. And again, we're truly out here just to get these repairs done. But like I said, we just record for the homeowner and the insurance if necessary. Now, I know this one's running long. I don't know, Sai, do you know how long it is? 18 minutes, man. I'm so sorry to bore y'all. But again, I really want to make sure that y'all are seeing what we're going through out on these repairs. Because there's a lot more than just take a shingle out and slide a shingle in, especially on these higher slopes. You know, and I'm not exactly sure of the number, but I know it was somewhere in the ballpark of 20 plus, so we're going to need to do this for 20 plus shingles, right? Because this roof is very, very sloped all around. I'm having some trouble getting to it now here. Let's see now, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. All right, now we're gonna move up to our second run. I'm gonna come up a little bit and try not to fall off this roof. Again, man, I mean, something to please consider is the steepness on this roof and the granular loss, the conditions that we have here. Again, you're gonna see me lifting it up high. I just have to get that hammerhead in there. I don't know if you can hear or see, but the granulars are just running off this roof every time that we're striking a nail. All right, and come up, get just enough room for our hammerhead. These steeper roofs, man, they are something on repairs. And what I think we ran into there is a decking clip, so you're gonna see me retract this nail and go back into a different spot. And hopefully we do not run into another one of those. Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, I'm not going to drag y'all along and show y'all anymore. These are the issues that we're running into. I want to take some time to notate some things. And here, let me go ahead and pull this nail just so that you can see it as it's flat. So, two things are at play here. A, the shingle's condition does not allow for you to manipulate it without lasting effects becoming apparent immediately. So on the camera, you may not be able to see it, but this shingle, and you can see I'm barely lifting this thing up, is already getting a crease to it. The same here, this whole area, when you lift up on it just a bit, you can tell that there's a point here where that shingle wants to go over itself. And again, you've got delamination here, over here. I mean, it's just something where also your bond lines, and I'm gonna take photos afterwards, your bond lines on this shingle are smoked. You can't, when I'm in there trying to put nails in, I can't even feel any kind of material on my hand, on the back of my hand, which lets me know that once you break this seal, it's never going to properly seal again. And again, along with, and so I want you to come up close here so we can show them what we're talking about. So something that you're probably also not seeing is this shingle now is very spongy when I go to mark things. What I want you to see is the crease line here, the creases that are forming here. Right, and as you know, we used a flat bar tool to take this shingle up. We lifted it as little as possible in order to get a nail in. They do not make a roof snake that is set for architectural shingles. For whatever reason, I'm not sure all the stats behind that or facts why they don't, you know, distinguish it for architectural shingles. But again, we're running into issues here. Mr. James, I'm going to have you send this off to the insurance company because we're going to need to talk a little bit more about if the shingle is going to be, if I'm going to be able to do a repair so where I can keep a warranty on this roof, because obviously if I repair this shingle and we go up a couple shingles and those are damaged, now you still have damage on your roof, which is just not a complete repair. This would be a failed repair just because of the material that we're working with. It has nothing to do with the way that you're doing it. It has nothing to do with you know, whether you're using mechanical tools or electric tools. That is simply based off of the condition of this, and we're going to make sure to grab Mr. James and his insurance company some photos so that they can check all this out. Thank you for your time. Again, sorry for being long. My name is Dylan Booth with Snapper Roofing. I look forward to speaking soon.